Hello, Put Me in Coaching family. I hope everyone is having a great first day of the month. Here we are, March 1st, 2026. I am blown away by how quickly this year is going. But here we are in the last month of the first quarter of the year. So let's do a reality check. And that's what tonight's class is going to be about, is accountability. I think it's really important whether we want to truly look at where we're at or not. I think it's important that you just get very honest with yourself, and especially at the first of the month, because this is the time where we can regroup, refocus, and we talk a lot about just being there and being present and understanding that you can always just get right back on when we fall off track. But when we talk about resetting your goals and resetting your focus, what better way to do that than the first of the month? And what's great is it's only 7 o'clock, right? We'll be wrapped up here by 7:15, 7:30. And so then you've got the rest of the evening, and that's East Coast time. Imagine if you're on the West Coast, for my West Coast folks that watch this. You have the rest of the day to truly figure out what it is you're going to focus on this last month of the first quarter. And I do this every month in my business. I reset my goals, and these are goals that I look at every day. And I think sometimes that's where we find ourselves getting off track, especially when it comes to accountability, because when we don't have our goals written in front of our face and where we're looking at them all the time, then it's easy to get sidetracked. It's easy to say, oh, well, I remember it this way. And what really brought this up was I was actually at a charity event last night, and I was talking to some of the people there, including the sheriff's officers that were there providing security for the event. And it was so funny because I made a comment and one of them just started laughing because somebody asked me, hey, do you remember, I was working the event and we were looking for somebody specifically. And she said, hey, do you remember that lady that we were helping that had on, I think she said the black dress and something. And I said, I'm going to be honest with you. I said, I don't remember what she was wearing. And I said, I guess that would probably make me a terrible eyewitness. And the sheriff's deputy started laughing, and she said, you wouldn't believe how bad most eyewitnesses are. And it's because they're trying to recall things from memory. And we do it to ourselves all the time. We think, oh, I know what my goals are. I know what I'm doing. And guess what? Oh, I know what I ate today. But then if we really looked back and looked at and tracked everything, it might be a little eye-opening. And I still remember specifically this one meal I ate when I was on my initial journey. And I remember I didn't look at it ahead of time. I thought I was making a good choice when I went to the restaurant. And then when I wrote it down, went to track it later, it was a little eye-opening. Now it was grilled chicken and artichoke hearts, and there was something else on it. I don't remember exactly what it was, but that sounds like a great choice. But when I wrote it down, it was appalling, the facts on that. And I remember writing a sad face next to it, sending it into Catherine, and she just laughed. She said, this is the problem. We think we're making a good choice because we justify it in our mind. But if we really took the time to write it down and look at it and hold ourselves accountable to it, we'd make much different choices. And I've never eaten that dish again. I don't even think they have it on the menu anymore. I was just at that restaurant the other night, and it's so interesting because that's exactly what the police officer said. She was telling me that she had taken an advanced surveillance class just this last week. and she was getting this advanced surveillance certification. And she said, I chased a car all over Auburndale, which is one of the neighboring cities here. I chased a car all over and I lost track. So I had to stop and ask this gentleman if he had seen this car, and she was describing it. It was like a gray something with this person driving and front end damage. And the man said to her, ma'am, I think there's been 5 or 6 cars that have driven by here, and I honestly couldn't tell you what color any one of them was. And so it's interesting when you think about that, and then think about what you're doing when you're not tracking and you're not holding yourself accountable, which is the 3rd step in the 7-step signature system. We don't hold ourselves accountable because we don't track, which is step 4. And we're choosing to do that with our health. We're just winging it, trying to figure it out. So I want to let that sink in for just a minute, because that was such an eye opener for me. And then I look back in full transparency, right? I'm holding myself accountable. I look back at my whiteboard that I have right behind my computer that has my business goals on it. And guess what goals are on there? It says January 2026. Y'all, we're in March. I didn't write my goals down in February. Now, I didn't have a bad month. I actually had a pretty good month, but I didn't write my goals down. Imagine if I had, how much more I would have achieved. And that's okay. That's the reality check that I need. And so tonight, I'm going to spend the rest of my evening. I've written them down. You know, I have the goals, but I need to put them in front of me where I'm looking at them every single day. And that's been a huge part of my success. And I also had another realization. I'm learning, right? I'm also learning, and again, accountability, right? I love to do extreme challenges. And we know that. If you've been around me, you know I like to do extreme challenges, whether they're mental challenges or physical challenges or whatever. And I had this idea of something I was going to do. And so I started to do it today and realized I got to scale it back a little bit, because I got to listen to my body. And right now I'm focused a lot on business, a lot on just personal things that I can't do as extreme of workouts. I can still work out. And I'm still going to, right? I'm not going to miss a workout, but I just have to tailor them to what my lifestyle is. That doesn't mean I'm not going to get the benefits of it. I just can't be doing extra right now. I need to do exactly what I need to do and then keep it moving. And that's where I'm at. And that's the beauty of tracking and that accountability, is recognizing, hey, we can't do everything. So where are the areas I can identify that I can do better, and I can hold myself accountable in X, Y, and Z places. And then I can start truly making progress, because I'm going to track it. So really think about that. Have you been tracking what you need to track? Have you been writing it down? Have you been writing your goals out every single day? I would bet the answer to that is no. And your goals, you should be writing them every single day. It should be the top part of your scripting. Whatever your goals for the month are, you're writing them out. Because what does that Bible verse say? Whether you're religious or not, it doesn't matter. It says, write the vision and make it plain. We have to write our goals out every day. And it doesn't matter. Any mastermind I've ever been in, any coaching program I've ever been in, that is one constant across the board that everybody agrees on. Write it out. So even if you're not spiritual and you don't script and you're more religious, there's your Bible verse that says it. Write the vision and make it plain. So it seems like that's a general consensus, no matter what you believe in, what school of thought you you subscribe to or whatever. We're writing the vision, we're making it plain. And this is how we are going to hold ourselves accountable and track. And I promise you, once you start writing everything down, and it doesn't have to take a long time, take 5 minutes of your day, write your goals, look at them every day, put them in a place where you look at them every single day. Right? Mine are on my whiteboard, and I'm actually about to repurpose my entire wall. If my parents are on here, surprise. But I saw somewhere, it was really cool. Somebody uses a clear shower curtain because it makes a huge whiteboard. And so that's what I'm going to do. I ordered one. I have to find it, but I ordered one so that I can put that up there and write all over it. I'll have a section for business, a section for health goals, and it's go time. And that's how we add accountability and tracking into our lives. So really get very honest with yourself and tap into that accountability step and say, have I been tracking like I should? Have I been writing my goals like I should? Have I even been setting my goals like I should? Some of us may need to start there, and that's okay. What is it that you need to do to start moving that needle again? Or maybe the needle's moving and you've got to keep the momentum going. I've got some really great momentum in my business right now. I have to keep that going. So I have to figure out what is that going to be to keep the momentum going. And as we really get honest with ourselves, we can become the best eyewitness for our journey because we've written it down and we're tracking, and we can go back and look. I can go back to 2017 and tell you what meals really work for me. Right? Why do you think I know that egg whites and fish are an incredibly powerful meal if I need to kickstart something that I'm working on, right? It's because I tracked it, and I can go back and look, and I can go back and repeat. And when you get to that point where you can just look back and say, this really worked for me, let me just recreate this, then guess what? That's less work that you have to do. Don't recreate the wheel. Just continue to forge ahead. What's that saying? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That works in all aspects of your life. So that is your assignment for the week. I want you to get very clear on your accountability to yourself. And I want you to exercise step 1, which is opt in. Here's your education right here. I want you to really tap into step 3, the accountability, and step 4, the tracking. I want you to become your best eyewitness to your success. And the only way to be an incredible eyewitness to your success is to write the vision, make it plain, track, and then review. We hear plan, do, review. And we do that on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. We plan, do, review. And there's all kinds of measurements in there to track, so that as we're reviewing, we can make those adjustments as we go along. So that is my challenge for you this week. I want you to become the best eyewitness for your success. And as I'm sitting here thinking about it and talking about it, I'm saying become a good eyewitness, but I also want you to become the expert witness to your success. And I want you to be so clear on what got you there because you've written everything down, you've tracked it, that there's no question about your efforts towards your success. Because remember, we can't control the outcome, but we can control our efforts. All right. And that behavior that receives attention is behavior that's repeated when we're plan, doing, and reviewing. That's that behavior receiving attention with the tracking and the accountability. And it becomes a part of us. All right. So become your best eyewitness that turns into the expert witness. And I will see you all back here next Sunday, 7 p.m. I'll see you in the comments, on text message, or in your coaching sessions. So I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. I'm very excited to be a secondary eyewitness to your success with all the accountability and tracking that we are going to implement if you're not already implementing it. So I love each and every one of you. Again, so grateful for you all. I'll see you back here next Sunday, 7 p.m. And in the meantime, become your expert and best eyewitness. Bye, everyone.